Welcome back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so happy that you are here, that you are liking, that you're sharing, that you're subscribing, and that most importantly, that you're growing and that we are doing life together. We're doing life together. Why? Come on, say it. Yes, because we are not supposed to do life alone. If we were, you would be the only person that exists, and you're not. So, no, for real though, but so thank you so much. Hey, share this with your family, with your friends, the ones that you love, because we're just here doing life together. Things get messy, we clean it up, we start again, we learn from one another, and we do that by listening, growing, and then talking things out. Because we don't know unless we talk things out. We just can't continue to keep assuming things. When we assume some things, then things just, we feel some type of way about certain things, certain people, how they're moving, because we just assume certain things. Like, I'm going to just say this. Like, this morning, I assumed that there was an understanding between me and Murdoch. And as I was bothered by it, I had to realize we actually never talked about this. I just assumed that this is what we were doing because the way we were moving in a particular way, and so it was happening, during this certain time period. So I was just like, oh, we got to understand it. We know that this is what we're doing. Well, come to find out, that is not what he was thinking. So I really couldn't be feeling any type of way or really be like, you wrong for that. Like, I couldn't really do that because he really wasn't. I had to get me together. I had to deal with me, and not only deal with me, but I had to say, hey, look, I thought that this is what we were doing during this time frame because we've been doing it for a while, and then now that you have decided to do something else, I am feeling some type of way. So, can we just agree that we're going to do this before we do this particular thing? Can we agree on that? And he agreed. So now, if anything's happening during the third weekend, right, I'm going to come back and let y'all know, right? And then I'll be like, yeah, I'm feeling some type of way. This dude right here, no, I'm just kidding. So, but now we know, right? So now there's just no assumptions of a thing, right? So that would be like a really good topic, like assuming, certain things and then why we do what we do. But that's not what we're talking about here today. Today, I want to talk about a particular thing that I did like a little bit on IG and just kind of like dive into it just a little bit deeper about repetition, what it does. And one of those things that it does is it brings clarity. If you stick with the repetition, it will bring you clarity. Now, if you quit, then of course there's no repetition. But just think about it for a second. If you've been doing things repeatedly over a period of time, right, then it begins to give clarity to some things and what in the way that you're doing it, how you're doing it, and what you actually need to be doing. Because you're going to find out, like, you might need to change course, directions, you might need an additional tool, things of that nature. So if you're sticking with the repetition, it will bring clarity. If I'm reading a book, the more I read that book, the more the story starts to unfold. The more the story starts to unfold if I continue reading the book. If I stop at chapter 1, I don't have the complete story. So basically, I'm going off of assumptions, which I was doing before, because I didn't complete it. So you must continue to keep doing repetitions so you can get clarity about some things. You're asking questions. Keep continuing on, and I guarantee you, your questions will get answered. They'll get answered. So we're going to talk about the power of repetition, right? And the challenges of it, and then the discipline that leads us to completion. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to be doing things and then not completing them. We kind of talk about that in season 1. But we need to finish what we started. You just can't be starting something and don't finish it. A lot of times we don't finish it because we get upset because we feel like there's no fruit in it, that you can't see the return of investment, or we just got lazy. And we just want the quick, fast, in a hurry or whatever. No. You need to be in this thing called life, called purpose, for the long haul. It is not a 100-yard dash. We talking about a full-fledged out triathlon. Not a marathon, but a triathlon. This is what life is like. All of these different obstacles that we must go through, and you must have endurance to complete it. You must have endurance to complete it. So, okay, let's talk about this thing that I initially brought up about this, which was having a blueprint. Literally a blueprint, you might hear this, within the framework of building, right, and construction-wise. And then you can also hear this terminology within the Christian frame of, God gave you something and he gave you this blueprint, right, like he had gave Moses. And so here's this blueprint, which really is just a vision, right, that you believe that you got by be it dream, by be it a vision, by being it someone's talking to you, whatever, by it's just something that's in your heart, but you got this blueprint. And now that you have this blueprint, now you must build with what you got. You must build what you got. It's an ideal that is just lingering, right, and stirring up your soul. You must build this thing. You must make, I don't want to say make it happen, but it literally make it happen, because you got to put some work in it to get it done. You got to put some work to get it done. So I know, we have, me and Murdoch have a ministry, right? And our ministry is called Pray Without Ceasing. That's one of them. That's the one that we birthed out last year. And so with that ministry, right, we've been on this thing for a year now, right? And then so there were some questions, that he had, and he was like, I don't see how God, is going to, and I was like, I don't either. But if you look at what we wrote down, what's been written, what's the goals, what's the strategic plan, we already hit one of them. And I don't even know how that was going to happen. But just know that if we keep going, these questions will be answered. We're not going to get everything up front. It's not going to happen up front. Excuse me, my eye is itching. So, the main thing in that was, we got a vision, we got the blueprint, and then it was now time to build. It was time to build with the tools in which we had gotten. And the thing about it is that most people, I'll say it's two types of people here. So most people, if they do get a project, a vision, a dream, or whatever, they sit on it until all the questions are answered. All the questions are answered. And we got to remember, your questions might not get answered. Because in the building project, you have the blueprint, and so now it's time to break ground. You don't have all the answers, but you have all the tools necessarily to break ground. You got your permits, you got your tools to lay the foundation, and you have a pretty good idea of how this thing is supposed to look once it's complete. You have a good idea of what it's supposed to look like when it's complete. That's not to say that when you start building this thing, that you might have to move some things around based upon some information that you didn't know at first. So, for example, I live in a home, and we're the first home in the neighborhood. And this was the last house that was built in this neighborhood. Now, it's like 30 homes or whatever in this neighborhood. It's not a big neighborhood. Yay, we love it. And so we were the last home that got built. So when we came on board, everybody was in their home, few years or whatever. And then now here's the brand new, the home that no one ever stayed in and wasn't really complete, and it really couldn't get done because they had entered a situation. They did not realize, right, the, I don't want to say egress, I can't really explain, but they had to they was trying to really figure out how to set the house because where it was sitting at, where it was going to have to sit at. And so it took them a while, right, to figure out, okay, we got to put this here to here because we got to run lines over here. We don't want to interrupt this or whatever the case. Like, they had to figure it out. But guess what? In the blueprint, they knew that they were going to build 30 homes. They knew they were going to build 30 homes. And here it is, the last one that had to be built because they had to figure out. They got new information as they were digging, as they were building. And so that's what we got to do. The other types of people is, right, I think I talked about people that get it and then they want everything answered along the way. And then you got the people that don't even get it. What I mean how you get it is that you're not dreaming. You must dream, people. You must dream beyond what you can possibly think or imagine. You must dream. There was someone dreaming. Come on now. There was someone seeing visions. They were seeing beyond what they saw. There was someone that knew, like, oh my gosh, there needs to be something better for women to hold up their breast. We need something other than fire on a stick to help us with our life that doesn't affect our homes, our HUDs or whatever. Like, we need something that's sustainable. How can we do that? We need to get to our destinations quicker. It's taking us too long. We need to, maybe we can clean up these roads and things of that nature where people can go on them smoothly and get to a destination quicker and safer. Someone was dreaming. Someone was able to see beyond what they were seeing. And then that's right, they were building on the blueprint. They were building the blueprint. And that's the next section. Building brick by brick. Taking those small steps that are going to get you to the finish line. Progress. You're not going to get it if you're not moving. You're not going to get it if you are not moving. You have to do something with it. The plan is not there for you just to look at it and for it to be nice and pretty and on wonderful pieces of paper or whatever the case may be. No, it's there for you to do something with it. Someone is in need of it. And that is why you were given it, so it can come into fruition and it can be utilized to help us, to help all of us in some type of way. Are we all not benefiting from light? Light in our homes, right? The different ways that light comes in. Are we not benefiting from being protected from the environment? Are we not benefiting from getting to our destinations quicker? Are we not benefiting the way that we have clothes and the way they're worn and how they protect us from the element? Are we not benefiting, right, from designs and creative people? Are we not benefiting for someone saying, oh my gosh, like there needs to be something that can carry people's voices across a room, across a television, like there needs to be something that's done. We're benefiting from it in some way, in some sort. And see, this is the thing about it. I don't even think people see the impact really of what them taking those necessary steps day by day to get a particular project to completion. I don't think they were thinking like, oh man, this is going to last for thousands of years, and I'm changing history. I don't think they were thinking that. I really think that we think, because the human brain, right, we might think like, oh yeah, all right, next generation, I'm doing this for the next generation, generation after that. But not really understanding the true impact of what that's really going to do to our society. But if we can just think bigger, larger, right? Like I said, going beyond the imagination, going beyond our own comfort zone, going beyond what we can do with just our mere hands. We must go beyond that. And in this going, day by day, you got to put in some work. You might have to stay up some nights past your bedtime. Oh yeah, I'm talking to me. Because I'll be like, I need to go to bed. But then there's something in me that will not let me rest until I put something in to what the blueprint that I was given. No. You can't go to bed. You need to put in some work, baby girl. You need to put in some work. And whatever that the work is for that day, I can't finish all in one day. Right? We got to realize that you can't finish in one day. You can't complete it in one day. But however, you need to put in some work. That's the point. You need to put in some work. So this is the thing that we're not getting. We're not understanding that we must put the work in, right? So we must get out the product that's on the blueprint. And keep in mind, in the podcast before, of your why. Why are you doing this? Who is it going to benefit? And then track your progress in that. Don't look at what's left and how much, because if you're keeping in progress, like laying, I guess, train tracks or whatever, and you're just like, man, I'm never gonna finish this thing. But if you're doing small things every day, have a goal. I'm gonna lay 16 today, and that's it. Did I do 16? Yes, I did. Okay, I did 16 more. Okay, boom, we had 32. Like, those small steps of getting you the progress that you need each and every day. Don't just look at, oh man, I got this much left to do. Celebrate every day what you did do. I had to learn that. I had to learn to celebrate everything that I got done. Because I'm the kind of person, like, I need to see the progress. I need to see progress. If I'm not seeing no progress, I'm like, what are we doing? Why am I wasting my time? Why am I here? Why? Right? So, yeah. I'm always asking questions. People know, like, you're Renee, she's gonna ask questions. All right? So, we got to think about that. All right, so the next thing is, right, point number 3 is the reality of distractions. Because as you're doing this, as you're laying these tracks, as you're doing these small, progressive steps that you're doing every single day, guess what? There is going to be people that's around you that's watching. They're watching you, right? I'm watching people myself. So it's not as though, like, we're not looking at one another, because we are. I don't care what you say. You've been looking at one another. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. What I'm talking about is that people that come there to bring distractions. Like, you could be walking to school. If this has not happened to you, then maybe I'm just off, whatever. But if you walk to school, or you was on a bus stop at one time, whatever, at school, and there's somebody across the street or whatever that you're like, hey, what are you doing? Slow down. Every single day you're going to school. Or they're taunting you every single day you go to school. Or, somebody's whistling at you. Hey, girl, baby, every day you go to school. Those are distractions. Distractions from what? from you getting to your destination. They want you to stop and engage with them. However it may be, they want you to engage with them, because if not, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. They want you to be late, right? They want you to entertain their foolishness, whatever the case may be. The reason why they're doing it is to distract you from getting you to your destination. They might not even know where you're going. They just concerned about themselves and how they're going to, utilize you in whatever way that's possible. So do know that as you're making these steps every single day, that there are going to be people that are watching you that do not have your best interest at heart. They're either going to be envious of you, or they're there to distract you from completing the work. And if they can distract you from completing the work, then guess what? They're going to just keep doing it. Oh, they paid attention to me for 2 minutes today. Oh, now today I got them in 5 minutes. Oh, snap, and then before you know it, guess what? You are late to school. And the next time, you don't even go to school. I think that's really how, a lot of people end up dropping out of school. Because they was distracted. They were distracted by something, but it just didn't happen overnight. So that's what I'm saying. These things don't just happen overnight. You don't start a thing and then you wake up and be like, no, I'm not doing that no more. No, there's the distractions that came along that got you right out of position, out off course. And then now when it's time to go back to work, your momentum is gone. There's no more clarity there. And you're like, well, man, why am I really doing this? So when it comes to, I'll use, for example, me doing any type of homework, right? It's I know, okay, I'm going to do homework from this time, this time, this time. If I answer my phone, I know that will be a distraction for me. I cannot sit there on the phone and still try to do homework. I cannot watch TV and still try to do homework. It doesn't work. Even playing music, it does not work for me. So all of that extra noise, it is a distraction. It's a distraction for me. So no, it's not. Or, okay, getting invitations here and invitations there, and then you decide to do this and go there, and then before you know it, a whole month them went by and you ain't turned no homework in. You're late. Or you're trying to catch up with it at the last minute. So be mindful of the distractions. You must create your boundaries. So we keep saying is this boundary thing. You must create them. No one's going to create them for you. You must create them. So I was thinking, so when I went on my little hiatus, as people would say, my sabbatical, right? And the 3 weeks that were in August, I went on my sabbatical or whatnot. And then I didn't tell anybody, hey, don't call me, don't text me, this and that, whatever. I put it out there publicly, right? And said that I am going on rest for the rest of this month. And so there was my boundary. I sent emails, right, to people that I was in partnership with, places I volunteered at. I sent them emails. I'm going to be out of the loop for 3 weeks. And so I'm taking this time to refresh and reset, that I may go again be able to do it for the remainder of the year. Because you need that. But I had created that boundary there. And so if I don't call you after a certain time, I'm setting a boundary. I'm not going to be calling you after this time. I'm not going to be sending you text messages after this time, because that is my boundary. And that's when it's okay to say no. And I know during that time, some people did not like that I was doing that. I don't care. It's not my problem. That's your problem. I know what I need to do for me. And that's what I'm going to do to stay healthy, right? Mentally, emotionally, and physically. I need that for me. For me to be the best version of me, I need that. And then as I'm doing that, guess what? More than likely, I'm not coming out of this the same way. I'm not. And so you're not. If you decide to do it, you're not either. I guarantee you, you're not. Now, the funny thing is that, it was 3 weeks, but it didn't feel like 3 weeks. And I'm going to tell you why it didn't feel like 3 weeks. Because it takes me a while to wind down. It takes me a while to wind down. So by the time I'm winding down from a thing, because this is new to me, it's almost time to go back into it. Go back out into the world and all the things. So it takes me a while to get there. And then also, when you're going through this and you're going through your steps day by day, make sure that you surround yourself with being accountable to somebody. I remember one time, which was so hilarious to me. It was just so hilarious, but he was so right. I was doing something. This was like, when I was in school, but he was telling me, he was just like, what time is it? And so I told him, he's like, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're supposed to be doing homework. Remember, you said. So he's using his words back on me, and I was fine. I was like, okay, cool. And so I had to get back on track. So that's what I had to do. So number 4, and we're going to wrap this up. This is the last point for this. Well, it's going to be the last point today because I'm not trying to keep you. Is to make sure that you're staying disciplined, right? And that you're staying focused, and that you're also being patient with yourself. So when I talk about being disciplined, right? Just saying that you're not doing something just because you feel like it, or I don't feel like it, or whatever the case may be. No, because there's going to be times within this building process that you are not going to feel like it. I guarantee you're not going to feel like doing it. As much as you enjoy a particular thing, there are going to be times when you don't want to do it. I'm like, this thing, you know what I'm saying, this 24-hour thing, this is true. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some endurance for this thing. And you might want to go do something else. Like, I really wanted to go here. I wanted to go out of town. Why? You've committed to building something. You committed to doing something, so you must stick to it. And not only showing up when you feel like it. That's a part of getting clarity. So if I just skipped out, then okay, I wouldn't have got the next thing that I needed, or to see that, oh man, we can't put the bathroom right here. We really have to move it over here, or maybe I need to expand it a little bit bigger than what I thought. The other part of this is staying focused. Keeping your eyes on the vision. I know it looks like this at the end, but all this stuff in between, I don't have all the answers. But I know that if I keep going, that I'll get the answers. And then I'll start to see this thing come to life. I'll start to see it. But I got to stay focused. And that what's going to help me stay focused is actually maybe I need to draw a picture. Maybe I need to go do some graphics and thing or whatever, and I need to print that thing out or put it on my phone or whatever, and I need to just be looking at this thing every single day, which I really think that you should go do that. I think you should go do that. That will help out. But that keeps me focused. It keeps me focused on what is to come if I continue on these steps day by day. And lastly but not least, the patience. Woo! If you ask for patience, you're going to go through some things to get you the patience. You're going to go through some things to get the patience. Trust in the process. And don't try to rush things through. Don't try to rush. Don't try to get everything in a microwave experience. Put some things in that crock pot and let it just slow cook so it can marinate. Because that's where the best flavor going to come out of. That's where the best thing is going to come out of. If you let some things marinate and cook slowly, right? When it's built, there is no wind or man that can come knock it down. You're not building straw houses. Come on, you're not building, sand houses. But you're building a firm foundation, right? And on top of that, you're building a brick. You're building by bricks. That's sustainable. That's durable. Not something that, life, the storm comes by and then boom, it's over. No, because you've marinated this thing. You've been taking the process through it and through and through and through. So now when this big hurricane comes, you cannot be moved out of place. All right? So I want you to think about these things, right? As we're talking about getting clarity for the thing that you have been given, the thing that other people are waiting on for you to build. You got the blueprint, now build. You got the tools, now build. You got the end of a thing, now build. You want clarity, keep going. Keep going. So I just want to encourage you on today. The process may feel like it's slow. Ooh, it may feel like it's slow. But brick by brick, it will be built. It'll be built. All right? I love you guys. Do know that leading is teachable. And I love you. And there's nothing that you can do about it. So until next time, peace.